What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams, and today is the moment we have all been waiting for. Today, we take a look at the season finale of the Disney Plus limited series, Obi-Wan Kenobi, starring Ewan McGregor, Moses Ingram, Vivian Lyra Blair, Kumali Nanjiani, O'Shea Jackson Jr., Joel Edgerton, Bonnie Piesse, Brant Feely, Hayden Christensen, James Earl Jones, Ian McDermott, Simone Kessel, Jimmy Smits, and Liam Neeson. What is going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. And as I said at the top of the show, today we're taking a look at the season finale, possibly the series finale, but it's still up in the air if there's going to be a second season. Both Ewan and Hayden are open to it, but I digress. We're here to take a look at the season finale of Obi-Wan Kenobi. And as our episode opens, Reva, the third sister, arrives on Tatooine in an attempt to locate Luke, while Darth Vader continues his pursuit of his former master, Obi-Wan Kenobi, as well as the path in his Star Destroyer. Now, Obi-Wan decides to separate from the group after realizing that Vader is only pursuing him. That way, the path has a better chance for survival. Obi-Wan goes to a nearby planet and he engages in a lightsaber duel with his former apprentice and is able to incapacitate him by damaging Vader's helmet and breathing device. After realizing that Anakin Skywalker has now fully embraced his identity as Darth Vader, Obi-Wan leaves his old Padawan despondent. Meanwhile, Reva arrives at Luke's home and confronts Owen and Beru Lars. After subduing them, Reva pursues Luke into the desert. However, she has a moment of clarity and eventually returns Luke to his family after remembering Anakin Skywalker's massacre at the Jedi Temple. Now liberated from the dark side, Obi-Wan congratulates Reva for overcoming her traumatic past. Back on Mustafar, a now healed Vader abandons his search for Kenobi after his master, Emperor Palpatine, questions his motives as well as his loyalty. Back on Alderaan, Leia has found new resolve in her duties as a princess. Obi-Wan visits them and affirms for the Organas that he will help them whenever he is needed. Obi-Wan bids Leia farewell and then returns to Tatooine, where he resolves his conflict with Owen by allowing Luke to have a regular childhood. Obi-Wan asks Kenobi if he'd like to meet Luke, since he hasn't interacted with him since he first gave him to Owen and Beru Lars 10 years prior, just after his birth. Obi-Wan walks over to Luke and greets him with a simple, "Hello there," very reminiscent of the greeting that old Ben gives Luke in A New Hope. Having now found his inner peace, Obi-Wan is greeted by and speaks to the Force ghost of his old master, Qui-Gon Jinn, as the finale of our series comes to its conclusion. Okay, so like I said, there's a lot to unpack here and a lot to digest. First of all, you've got Leia accepting her duties as a princess now and beginning to go down that dignified path that will lead her towards us rediscovering her in the tail end of Rogue One, ushering into A New Hope. You've got Obi-Wan giving Leia a gun holster that had belonged to her mother, Padme. That connection, that moment right there was definitely one of those, somebody cutting onions as I'm watching it, getting a little misty eyed and teary, because up until that point, Obi-Wan had tried to convince Leia that he didn't know her parents. And by giving her that gun holster, he essentially opens the Pandora's box and is able to tell her just how much she is like her mother, how much she is like her father, for better and for worse, to steer her down that path to becoming the noble, dignified princess that we know come A New Hope. Luke. Luke didn't play too heavily into this series. We saw him very briefly in the first episode and very briefly in the last episode. There was definitely more of an interaction and connection with Obi-Wan and Leia than there was with Luke. And I feel like if the series is going to continue going, we need to kind of explore the relationship with Luke a little bit more. Because if you figure in A New Hope, Luke talks about how he doesn't know an Obi-Wan, but how there's an old Ben, this kind of hermit figure who lives out beyond the Dune Sea. So clearly, Luke has interacted with Ben a few times since this incident in him saying hello to Luke and then kind of going on his way. There have been a few times where they've bumped into each other and interacted, whether by Obi-Wan's design and kind of breaking his promise to Owen to just let Luke be, or just by sheer happenstance being in the same place in the same time. You've got this lightsaber duel between Obi-Wan and Vader that cracks his helmet and damages his breathing device. And the image of Vader there with the cracked helmet, where you could see part of the scarred face of Anakin Skywalker, was something straight out of a horror movie. I I literally jumped back for a moment because it was like one of those oh damn type of moments. And then you bring in the uncredited appearance of Liam Neeson at the very end as Master Qui-Gon Jinn. Again, somebody cutting onions in here. This was a moment I had been waiting for since 2005 when Yoda was talking to Obi-Wan, telling him that some training he had for him, an old spirit has been trying to contact him. And Yoda was going to show him how to communicate with the ghost of Qui-Gon Jinn. And we haven't been able to see it. It took 10 years storyline wise, 17 years film wise between Revenge of the Sith and this for us to finally see that moment come to fruition. And for Liam Neeson to be back in that role, it gave me chills, honestly. You see this silhouette starting to form in the desert as Obi-Wan is riding away. And I sat there, and y'all know I don't like using profanity on my show here, but I sat there watching this. I was like, holy fuck, it's Qui-Gon. Holy fuck, it's Qui-Gon. And there he was. And the two of them had that moment. And it was such a beautiful thing to behold from not only a cinematography standpoint, not only from a history standpoint, but from a fan standpoint. You know, I have spoken ad nauseum. You go back and you watch me and Jeff ranking the trilogies, and the saga from our very first Dad's Not Always on Wrestling when we relaunched May the 4th of 2020. Go back last year and you watch me review every movie of the Star Wars saga. The prequels don't get the love that they deserve. Are there flaws in them? Absolutely. I won't take anything away from that. But I feel like the prequels, especially now that they are 20 years old, some of them. Phantom Menace came out in 99. It's going on 23 years since the Phantom Menace came out. Attack of the Clones came out in 2002. It is 20 years this year. And then, as I stated, 17 years since Revenge of the Sith. So that entire saga is pushing 20 years. And they still don't get the love that they deserve. There is so much gold, if you will, within them that it needs to stop being treated as just an average rock. And I highly recommend people go back, revisit the prequels, especially if you're going to go into this, because you got to watch Obi-Wan's journey from Padawan as Phantom Menace to taking Anakin on as his Padawan and him becoming master, to the battle in Revenge of the Sith, to this, to fully appreciate Obi-Wan's journey come A New Hope. Again, I feel like I'm starting to ramble here, but I just feel that there is so much good that gets overlooked in the prequels that it really deserves another glance by us true fans, especially in the grander context of now, in this case, the Obi-Wan story. Go back, watch episode 1, 2, 3. Watch this. Watch A New Hope. And watch how, at the end of the day, Obi-Wan, unable to deal anymore with what he did to Vader, sacrificed himself so that the rebellion and Luke could have a chance. So much poetic justice here. What do you guys think of the Star Wars Kenobi saga? Again, I said at the top of the show, this is the moment we've been waiting for. I wasn't going to review episode by episode and give ratings. We're getting a star rating today, folks. I am giving overall, based on all 6 episodes, all 6 hours, I give the Kenobi saga 4 out of 5 stars. Why don't I rank it higher? Because there's a lot of filler. You figure this was a 6 hour TV series at the end of the day, 6 episodes, roughly an hour each. If this had been a movie, it probably would have been 2.5 to 3 hours, which means about half of this crap would have been cut. So there's definitely a lot of padded filler in here, but a lot of the filler is still entertaining. So 4 out of 5 stars for me when it comes to the Star Wars Kenobi limited series. Again, what do you guys think? Let me know if you're watching the premiere. Leave your thoughts and comments over here. If you're watching on demand later in the day, leave your thoughts and comments down here. Let's get into that conversation. Let's engage in this discussion. Let's have some fun with this, man. The Star Wars saga is fun at the end of the day. Let's have some fun with this conversation. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow, right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews when we enter the wonderful world of Disney and I take a look at Beauty and the Beast. That's right, it's a tale as old as time, a song as old as rhyme. We are going back into the Disney vaults, picking up where we left off last year with The Little Mermaid and Rescuers Down Under, and we're going all the way through chronologically until we get to an extremely goofy movie at the end of the month. We've got Aladdin, we've got Lion King, we've got Pocahontas and Mulan, we got Tarzan and Hercules, Hunchback. So much good stuff coming this month right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, right here on another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. You're not going to want to miss it. Thank you to all my fans out there, family and friends who tune in and enjoyed the show. Make sure you like it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you turn that notification bell on so you're not missing any of my content as it goes up. Thank you once again to everybody who tuned in and joined me today. And I will see you guys next time.